Well, earlier in 2024, YouTube rolled out the YouTube Create app, which is basically a video editing app for YouTubers to a vast number of countries. So much so that a lot more people now have access to it. But there are a few provisos, which is fine. We'll go into those in a second. But in this video, this is going to be a complete overview, walkthrough of what the app is and does. And if there's anything that I cover that you want me to go into more depth on or do a separate tutorial on, make sure to put the comment below. All right, let's go into the provisos. First of all, it's not available in every country, but it's available in a lot more countries than it was before. To see the exact amount of countries and what countries they are, there'll be a list on the screen right now. And in addition, right now, at the time of recording, this is available on Android only. So if you're on iOS, you're a little bit out of luck. They will be bringing out a version of this on iOS at a later date. The other proviso is that the app is still in beta. So that means there's going to be more features added and it is going to get better than it is currently. So let's dive in and have an overview of the YouTube Create app. Now, the YouTube Create app, you need to download it, of course, from the Google Play Store. But once you're done, you're going to see this icon here. If you see on my screen right now, it says what to create in the top left. Where it loads on your phone is up to what you have loaded and where you want to put it. But I'm going to tap on that now and open the screen. You can see here that it opens you up into your project screen, which shows you past projects you've worked on. In addition, notice in the top right hand side your YouTube profile picture. You can tap on that to get into a couple of settings. Right now, the only setting you need to be worried about is making sure that you put it on the channel that you're making content for. That'll come into play when we export the finished file. If you're starting a brand new project, you want to click the plus sign, which in this current state is in the bottom right hand corner. So we're going to click that. It's going to take us to a camera roll where we're going to want to grab our raw footage, whatever it might be. You can click specifically for videos or to look at photos. Now, I don't have a lot of videos on here, but we're going to go with maybe this one here. And what that's going to do is bring that footage into the app. Sometimes what it needs to do is do a conversion to be compatible for the app. So that's what it's actually doing there. But once it's done, you'll see that we're into the app. Now this is actually an earlier screen recording I did of some for another tutorial. So it is actually in portrait format. So if you're doing a short, it's all going to be working out. If you click the three dots at the top, you can see we have options to export, which we'll look at later. Aspect ratio, which we can click. You can see it defaults to the type the footage is, which is 9:16 portrait mode. You can set it for 16:9 and you can set it for square 1:1. We're going to leave it as 9:16 or portrait mode. Now, if we go down to the bottom, we have a timeline, and I am dragging that back and forth right now just to show you. Just above that, we have a play symbol that allows us to play the video. And you can see that the playhead is moving through the video. The other thing that you can see is on the right hand side is a pair of scissors. That is the split button. Say I've picked that particular spot, I can click the scissors and away there. Now I have two parts. I'm going to click the first part to show you the next one, which is on the left hand side. The rubbish bin is the delete. The highlighted portion, the one I've tapped on, is going to disappear as soon as I tap it. Now we look at the timeline here. Below it, you have options, while nothing is selected, to add additional content along the way. We'll briefly touch on what each of these are. Overlay is going to allow you to add more images and or video. Text is going to allow us to add plain text or a text effect, and we're going to go into that a little bit more later. Sticker is going to allow us to bring in stickers, GIFs, and emojis. There we are. Sound allows us to bring in music, sound effects, and audio, or your music, which is anything that's on the device that is an audio file. You can see I've got some creative mix music here. When you go back to the music tab, you notice this is music that is provided by YouTube. So make sure anytime you're going to use this or anything from the sound effects tab that you look at the view usage license and understand what it says and what it means. We're not going to go into that in this tutorial. The next option here is voiceover, where we can record a voiceover. Once we've edited a video, we want to record a voiceover or redo some voice that didn't get recorded properly. Then we're going to use this feature. And then captions, which is where we can upload the video with some audio, spoken word, and have it bring back captions. And again, another place where you can change the aspect ratio of the project. For now, I'm going to click on the content we've already got on the timeline to show you the options that you have for items on the timeline. Of course, again, there is split, which I can just tap and it splits it in two, same as the split that is up in the middle right. Next is filters, where we can add Instagram style filters. These are exactly the same as the filters in the Shorts tool on the main app. You can also add effects. These are mostly the same effects as in the Shorts effects, so you can do similar sorts of things. Next is adjust. Now adjust is where you can adjust or basically do your color correction on your video. So we can do anything from brightness to contrast, highlights and shadows, white point and black point, saturation, warmth, tint, skin tone, blue tone, sharpen, vignette, and the opacity of the video. All that can be adjusted in this section. Next is speed. This is where we can either take that portion of video and speed it up or slow it down. You can see if I move the option to the left, it'll go down to 0.01 times speed, so that's slowing it down. If I move it to the right, it takes it to 10 times speed, which is speeding it up. And you can stop at any point in between. In addition to that, we have a couple of extra options. Volume, where we can adjust the volume of the clip that we have there. Now, by default, it's at 100%, so it's 100% of the volume you brought in. There is no way to actually boost that using the volume option. Also, there is the audio cleanup. This is where if there's something funny about your audio, it's not recorded cleanly, something like that, you can run it through an AI cleanup process, and it will hopefully improve the audio for listening. In addition to that, we can do other things with the clip that is highlighted, like rotate. Replace allows you to go into your camera roll and pick out a piece of video and or image to replace it, so it will swap it out. Rearrange allows us to take all the different cuts and move them into a different order. And then we have a delete and duplicate. So a duplicate will take that highlighted clip and make another copy of it right next to it. So now I have two of the same thing right next to each other, but we'll get rid of that one. So for this particular clip that I've got loaded, I don't actually have any audio, which is a little problematic. So what I'm going to do is do a little bit of a switcheroo. So we're going to use the replace feature. I'm going to go in and pick something that has some audio. Let's say this 6 seconds here. And you can see what it's done is let's replace that whole selected clip with this new clip, which has come from another tutorial that I was recording. So what you can see here on the clip, you can see the actual audio waveform across the middle. If you pinch out, it'll expand the 6 seconds that we've got there, so we can have a better look at the audio time frame. So this helps you if you're editing back and forth. You can stop the playhead exactly where you want to clip it and hit split, for example, and do different things like that. But right now we're going to click off that and we're going to look at some of these additional options. As we said before, we have the overlay option where we can bring in other images and or video. The text, we're going to add a quick piece of text and we're going to just call it text, just to show you what we've got. Now the text is in a little box on the screen. You can see now in the timeline that it's added it just above the clip, and you can see that it's currently selected. I can do all the same things with this in regards to the trimming, top and bottom, splitting the clip, all that stuff. I have options for text. Edit will allow us to edit the text to say something different. Instead of text, I could make it say hello. Style is where you format it. So make the font bigger. Give it a different font. Give it a color. Give it a background. There we go. On here we can change the opacity and give it rounded corners if we want to. format is going to be whether it's left, center, or right justified. Plus we can add in bold, italic, and underlines. Outline is going to outline the text like a stroke, like that. We can adjust the opacity and thickness of that. And shadow is going to give us a drop shadow. We've applied everything to this. When we're done, we can just click done and it will save those changes. We can of course move it around the screen, and so that will come on and off there. The other thing we can do with this and other items that we add to the timeline is animate them. We can animate the part that comes in and the part that comes out. So I could maybe have it dissolve in and then have it maybe do a circular wipeout, and then there's timing of how long each one takes at the bottom there. I've got 1 second on each one, so if I play that now, fades on. Now I've clicked off that, I can add other things like a sticker. So I want to add a sticker along the way. We can just say maybe like. There's a like sticker when it plays. It's going to be pretty big. We can adjust the size of that by pinching it and then moving it. And this is where it's going to play. It's got its own little animations, but we can also add additional animation, or we can split it. All the usual things there. Another thing that we can do is add some sound. Now I could add anything from the music or sound effects library. Let's say I want to bring in some music from Creator Mix. So let's bring that in. It's added it where the playhead was. So maybe I actually want that to start at the start, or maybe not. I can actually drag that to where I want that. Other thing that it might be important for this one is volume. By default, it's going to play it at full volume, so you want to drop that back, particularly if it's background music. I find you have to drop it quite low to be subtle, and it's very hard to get it fine-tuned, unfortunately. But let's add that in. We can add fades to the beginning and end of that as well. We can also have it find the beats, so it will actually go through and mark the beats, if that is going to be helpful for maybe the edit to get the timing of the transitions. And we can even apply audio cleanup to anything we bring in this manner. So say you've pre-recorded a voiceover somewhere else and you're bringing that in, you can have that cleaned up using this. I probably wouldn't use the audio cleanup for music, because music should already be ready to go. Okay, other things we can do, of course, we mentioned voiceover and we mentioned captions. Now I can probably caption this first part here. Let's say captions. Now when we do captions, it's asking if we want to do sound source or sound from videos. So we want sound from videos. We want it to be English. We can do Spanish or Hindi as time of recording. As soon as I hit create, it's going to go through and send that to get translated in from the voice to text. And this is a very short clip, so it should only take a few seconds. And it's already done. So if we roll in, it's this one at the bottom. Ignore the top, which was already on the video, of course. Once you've got that in place, you can do a number of things. Edit will allow us to go through and fix words. We can also adjust the style, very much like the text option. When we play that, we've got a really rough edit there. No real sense to that particular edit. It was just to show off the features. Now, say my video is finished. For whatever reason, it's finished. We want to export, so we're going to click the three dots at the top and go export. It's going to give us some information about the frame rate and the file format. By default, I can't actually change that, but you can change the resolution. Probably want to keep it as high as possible. 1080p makes sense. You want to click export. That'll go through and put that together. This very short clip. Now I get to this screen here. It says upload to YouTube. Your video has been exported and saved to the device. So at this point, it's already saved a copy of that video to your gallery. Now it gives you the options here. So upload as a YouTube short. The reason why I want to upload as a short, because the clip is under 60 seconds and it is already a vertical format. So it's saying that's a short. So if you upload that to YouTube, it's going to be short. So it's saying that. My other option also is to share. This is where I want to share in additional places using the share options that the Android device has. We can click on that. We can click back out of the house, and you can see we're back at the starting screen, which is the project screen. At this point, I'm going to probably want to rename that so it doesn't say untitled, and just call it. And now we've got it named. The project is saved here for us to come back to if we need to make changes. Another thing to note in regards to the fact that it's right now it's only on Android is that you need to have a device that's fairly beefy. So you're going to need to have one of the more recent mobile handsets like Pixel series or Samsung Galaxy series. Anything that's come out probably in the last few years that has a bit of grunt to it. Unfortunately, you cannot use old, super old phones. They're probably not going to be compatible. I'll put the compatibility up on the screen right now. The other thing to keep in mind is that it isn't available on tablets. You're going to need to run it on a mobile phone, meeting those criteria that I talked about just now. Now, you probably have some questions, and I'm sure you do, and you probably want me to go through and expand on some of these features. So let me know in the comments below what you have questions about, what you want more information about, or a demonstration of as a tutorial. I'll be happy to look at that and make that in a future video. Now, I was inspired to make this video because Dee Nimmin recently put out a video about the overview of CapCut as a video editor. I quite liken the YouTube Create app to be like a light version of CapCut. It has a lot of the same features. Obviously, CapCut is more fully featured. So if you want to check out that about CapCut, then up here, Dee Nimmin's video is going to be up in the cards. So you'll be able to go through and check that out. One final thing is I want to thank all my members over on the main channel. Now, this channel doesn't have memberships yet, but we're going to get there one day. So I just shout out the members that are up on the main Doug Hewson YT channel. Now, the channel you're watching, the Doug Hewson mobile channel, is all about doing content creation tasks on your mobile device, whether it's your iPhone or your Android device. So if you want more of that sort of thing, you use your phone in some capacity in content creation, then make sure to subscribe. And if you want to see even more videos about how you can use some of YouTube's features on a mobile device, then I've got a playlist for you right here to check out. Well, this is Doug, and I'll catch you later.